Yesterday I gave you a basic overview of my chicken system and how I rotate them around the back area that I have here. Today I'm going to give you a step-by-step showing you how I do it. I'm going to take them from this run, which has been picked clean over the course of the week by the 15 chickens, move them down to this run of green right here, which is a daikon mustard cover crop, mixing it. So let's do it. I'll show you how it's done. So that's how I move the chickens. What I'm using is just welded wire fencing, as you can see here. It's 3 feet high. It's buried a few inches in the ground to help the chickens keep from digging under. On top, what you're seeing up here, those are actually 3-foot hog panels. I had those left over from when I had a pig at one point in time. I figured I'd repurpose them. It works well. At one point in time, I used plastic like roll netting. I didn't like having to roll it up every time. It got tangled up in the fence. It created a big mess. So the hog panels are nice because they're normal length hog panels just cut in half. So they're 8 feet long each, and I can just move them. They're easy to move around, they're rigid, which helps for picking one off and setting it on the other, and they hold their shape. To hold them on, I just use a simple carabiner clip, a cheapo one that I got on eBay. 100 of these might have been less than $5. It serves the purpose. I have to have aerial protection here because of hawks. If I didn't have the aerial protection, hawks would be coming down buzzing. Otherwise, I'd love to not have it because it'd be one piece of the system just to not have to worry about. One question could come up is, well, why not just let them free range? I want to keep them contained. I mean, one reason for that is, again, hawk pressure, but also I want to try and grow veg up here, and this is where I've grown veg for the last 2 years. If I let them free range, chickens and veg, they don't work. The chickens win, the veg loses. So keeping them contained works well for me. What I don't like about this system is if you compare these two runs, or if you look at these two runs here, this is one run, this is another run. There's no pathway in between them, no permanent pathway. That's cumbersome. So if you want to get in there to access something, you have to walk on another bed. Now right now in this little transition period I'm in, it's not bad because there's no crop here, but if you seed it out or if there's young crops, it's a pain to tiptoe around in there through the tulips, if you will. So I want to put permanent paths up here, also to make it easier for my kids to get in here and interact with them. Without that, it's cumbersome, and part of the fun of having chickens and having kids is the fun that they bring with each other. So I want permanent paths. The other thing I don't like is all this fencing. It's, I don't want to say dangerous around the kids, but it's just another thing for the kids to fall on, to trip on when they're just learning to walk and they don't have good balance. The surface isn't flat as it is, so you add fencing up here, it's just another thing for them to avoid an obstacle. I also don't like how it looks. I'd rather not have any of this fencing. You see some of the beautiful pictures of market gardens out there, whether it's Ray Tyler's, Curtis's, Jean Martin's, Jody Roebuck's. They look beautiful. Part of why I want to do this is because our kitchen window looks directly up onto this site. I want it to look nice because we see it every day, many times a day. This fencing isn't the best thing to look at. So that's one aspect that goes into it. So the goal now, and I wanted to do this move on camera today because this system's going away. The fences are coming down. We'll be pulling them down in a future video, but I wanted to document how this system works just so I have it and so how you can see how it works. If you don't have a problem with no paths in between, or if you wanted to integrate paths in between, or if you're looking for some sort of rotational system, here's one way to do it. That wagon wheel concept with the coupe in the center is another way to do it. I thought about doing that initially, but it's a challenge on a slope, so that's the main reason I didn't do that. Otherwise, I would have gone that direction if I had a nice flat space. This is it. Moved pretty quick. It took about 5 minutes. Granted, that was going from a long run to a short run, but even if it was a long run, it probably would have only taken 2 more minutes. They're fast moves. A lot of the time spent here doing these moves is just reseeding the cover crop into the old bed when you move out of the old one. Moving the chickens around is pretty simple. That's how I move my chickens. That's how I get pastured poultry in my backyard without a pasture, by creating the pasture and moving them around to it, and then just reseeding a new pasture behind them. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Until next time, be nice, be thankful, and do the work.